What you're about to witness and what you're about to see and hear may be disturbing. This is a story about a grandmother and her fight to adopt her grandchildren.
Before, and we're not doing anything. I said, y'all dropped the ball once before, let these people continue to handle my case. Then they went to court and lied on me, and I've got documentation for you, and you're not going to do anything? Take it to the judge. What do you mean? They made sure I couldn't talk to the judge, refused to let me into courtroom. No matter how many times I asked the judge to be a party, opposed to anything, I wasn't allowed. These people had a whole damn hearing as to where my grandchildren should be placed. Here's the motion right here. Motion to modify legal custody and placement of children pursuant to ARC match staffing. Comes now the State of Florida Department of Children and Families by its undersigned attorney to respectfully move the court to change legal custody of the above named children, grandkids' names, from foster care to the maternal grandmother. I'm not fighting the Department of Children and Families. I'm fighting the damn child placement and adoption agency that gets a $4,000 to $10,000 cutback for every child they adopt outside of a family. You ain't know that. Look it up. It's in their records what they get paid for placing children. All you got to do is look up their records. It's the state of Florida. It's public record. Anything I'm saying to you is public record. Anybody can Google it. You can look it up.
You got the paperwork out?
Yes, I have most of it, but I'm trying to find the kids' pictures and the pictures of the foster mother raising money on GoFundMe.
That's so crazy. Like
Telling people my grandchildren ain't had no family, trying to get them, and I've been to every court date for 2 years, and I just saw her for the first time at the last 2 court dates. Neither her nor the husband never came to court until 22 months later. And he never came to court. I don't even think that they're still together.
And if you're a grandmother or you're a grandfather or your grandparents, this story should hit close to home. My name is Peter Anderson, and I'm bringing you this story from Jacksonville, Florida.
So January 26th of 2018, my grandbaby was taken into custody by the Department of Children and Family Services. Upon doing some research about what they call dependency cases in the state of Florida, I discovered that although grandparents have no rights in the state of Florida, when a child is taken by the state, we are allowed visitation. Florida statute ordered visitation. So I did my research. I wasn't notified of anything. DCF had left my grandbaby with me. My daughter showed out in front of my house. They felt like my home wasn't a safe place. I called the police and tried to have everybody out there arrested. She wasn't even living here at the time. So for 4 months, I reached out to Jewish Family and Community Services to get my legal visitation that I was qualified for. I was finally answered by a lady by the name of KM, and I am in debt right now up to my ears, paying for attorneys to try to get custody of my grandchildren. So after back and forth with Katie Millett, having to pay for visitation at a center where visitation never took place, that was $70 out of my pocket, I had to file a grievance against her agency with a agency by the name of Family Support Services. Family Support Services did do an investigation. They did tell Jewish Family and Community Services that they didn't have a right to deny my custody and that they needed to get my custody together and work with my work schedule because they were trying to make me take off from work. People only have so much PTO. I was already attending court twice a month. I went to every court meeting. Everybody knew that I was interested in getting my grandchildren, and out of the blue sky, after being placed with 3 other family members and my daughter terrorizing everybody, they were finally placed in foster care, even though they knew that I wanted to get my grandchildren. There is nothing legally in any paperwork, any statute that prevents me from getting my grandchildren. The proof of that is when the foster parents stepped up and decided that they wanted to adopt my grandchildren. There is what is called an ARC committee, an Adoption Application Review Committee. It's where competing applicants want to adopt the same children. The ARC was done. I was chosen as the chosen applicant to adopt my grandchildren by a panel of 3 people. Daniel Kids completed a home study outside of Jewish Family and Community Services that I passed. I failed Jewish Family and Community Services home study, but I passed Daniel. Jewish Family and Community Services had me to jump through hoops. I had to buy bed rails for the twin bed for my grandbaby. I had to install drawer and cabinet locks. I attended something called CPP every other week. I had filed enough complaints because the baby was missing the appointments because Jewish Family and Community Services wasn't providing transportation. They were supposed to get her there. They would schedule the appointments. The lady would verify with them that I'm supposed to be there. The baby wouldn't show up. Oh, we forgot to schedule transportation. More time off my job. So KM organized visitation through the Family Nurturing Center because I needed weekend visitation because I worked Monday through Friday, the same hours that their office was open. Only because they was directed to by Family Support Services, FSS, due to the complaint that I filed. But that visitation never occurred. I took the orientation as instructed. I paid for it as instructed, but it never occurred.
Miss Wilson fought for her grandchildren, and the foster mother did a GoFundMe and used their faces so she can take this grandmother's grandchildren away. There are so many children that need foster parents and need to be adopted, but you made this grandmother's grandchildren believe that no one wants them.
The case. And I say that because I have myself witnessed and plenty of other people that have been allowed in those courtrooms because they're closed to the general public, so y'all can't see what corruption is going on. There's a small circle of attorneys that handle those cases.
That when you first went to put in your adoption application, JSCS, they rejected it. Why?
They told me that I wasn't allowed to put in an application to adopt my grandchildren. I had to file a complaint with FSS again, who told them that they were wrong. I had every right to adopt my grandchildren, but this was because they had already arranged with the foster mother to have her to adopt my grandchildren.
That's crazy.
I've got emails to prove anything and everything that I say. Anybody that wants this documentation, it'll be redacted down, not to reveal my grandchildren's names. But this corruption has to stop. Ashley Radford raised money on GoFundMe to fight me to adopt my grandchildren.
So that was the initial person that they had set to adopt.
Yes.
That's why they didn't want you to adopt the children.
No. And if you read Ashley Radford's GoFundMe page that I can provide to you at any time, she's since then taken it down because I tried to reveal it to the court, although the judge ignored me and would not even look at my evidence. In that statement, she said that my grandchildren didn't have anybody that cared for them until the last minute when she was raising money. But if y'all only knew that Ashley Radford used y'all money on GoFundMe to hire a private investigator to follow me around and take pictures. These are their emails. These are the pictures that they took. This is my cousin who visited Jewish Family and Community Services with me. This is my other daughter's baby daddy, her old man, bringing me my grandson because I get my grandkids on the weekends. You hear children in the background now. This is a child community home. This is the same cousin. These are all dated. This is the same cousin and my kid's granddad dropping off decorations after we had a luau for my grandkid's birthday. When you read this paperwork, some of these pictures are the same people over and over again. They made accusations in the denial that I had all these different visitors, but these are the same people in these pictures that visited Jewish Family and Community Services to see my grandchildren. There's documents you have to sign in and sign out. So how are these unauthorized visitors? That's an accusation that they made in my denial to have my grandchildren placed with me. But this is what you're spending the money on.
So she did a GoFundMe to
Raise this kind of money. Oh, that's not the only way she raised money. She works for the school board. She raised money at school. She raised money at church. She paid her attorney, from what I hear, a sum of almost $10,000 to fight me for custody of my grandchildren. All while getting a check from the state of Florida for custody of my grandchildren.
So let me get this right. The same exact people that were foster caring your children were trying to officially adopt them and stop you
from getting my own grandchildren. Yes.
Because they had set up.
Because I don't know, but I know she's a white lady with a black husband that want black kids. But this isn't the first. She states this herself on her GoFundMe page. This isn't the first child she's tried to adopt. She lost baby L. That is how she became affiliated with Jewish Family and Community Services and became friends with their employees before ever even seeing my grandbaby. As soon as Jewish became involved, she states herself on her GoFundMe page that they approached her about adopting my grandbaby before my daughter ever even failed to comply. How do y'all automatically just go find somebody to adopt kids the second you take a case? They approached her twice. They wanted to make sure because of her failed adoption. I don't know, maybe they thought they owed her some children.
Wow.
Next question, Peter. Well, come to find out, all of them are friends. They're friends on Facebook. I have screenshots of them communicating on Facebook of happy birthday wishes to one of the most nicest ladies that I know. All kinds of fond comments and things on the pictures. The entire Jewish committee, the foster mother, the lady who changed her testimony, testified I should have my grandkids, and 18 months later, after never seeing us in 18 months, came back and changed her testimony. Friends with the foster mother. All of them are friends. Not have a UTI, but that she was so constipated that it was pressing down on her urinary tract, blocking her from urinating because she was that constipated. If it don't come out one way, it'll come out another one. So I went to the store, cost me, girl, I did not know Miralax cost that much. And then the probiotic to put in the baby's milk, I provided all of that to the school, half for there, half for my home. I sent some to the foster mother's home.
Wow, really?
Bowls, clothes, shoes, lotion. Yeah, she was getting a check. Yeah, she was getting a check, but when my grandbaby's eczema is so bad, and I've sent 25 emails, visitation after visitation, about how she's got a scar all the way across her lip, down the side of her face, and down her neck because the lady won't put lotion on her. She wouldn't do her hair, so I took pictures and sent an email. I'm sending this to the foster mother. Dove baby products, Aveeno products, hair, right, hair bows. But later on, you'll hear IW mention that the foster mother was, what term did she use in her statement? Receptive of what to do with black skin and hair. Because being a foster parent in the state of Florida, you can adopt any child. Why adopt a child that has a family that won't them? Enough of us aren't educated enough to know that you have rights. There are laws. I'm currently getting ready to file under USC 1983 because they violated my civil rights by not allowing me to present my own evidence and defend myself in court. against all of these accusations. You have that right legally. It's in the Constitution. Let's start at the beginning. KM, which is the foster care specialist who became the supervisor, so I could no longer complain on her. So I went above her head to her director, who got mad because when she ignored me telling her that one of Leilani's placements was in a home where they were doing heavy drugs and having parties, and my grandbaby was being locked into a room, they wouldn't test the placement. They just kept telling me, oh, that's just how you feel. And then testified later in court, that's in the envelope that I gave you, that they were worried about the placement, which is why she wound up in foster care. Yeah. But I complained to her members of the board, because this is a kind of private company, non-profit organization. If you can't get anywhere with the employees, who runs the show? The members of the board. Well, her secretary gave me the phone number. Subsequently, after I made that phone call, her secretary, by the name of Jeej, reached back out to me and asked me not to ever call that number again. It meant her job. She called me from her cell phone. She was afraid to use the office phone. Begged me not to call anybody from the board because she would get fired. She's black. For giving me information I have the right to. Because if you're not doing your job, everyone has a supervisor. But because I filed complaints and didn't let them just do what they wanted to do with this case, I was considered to be aggressive. I want to know, how can you be aggressive via email? Video visitation, after they've told all these lies and my order for custody was denied, I was receiving video visitation. They wanted me to sign a blank document that said the visits were on these days, but there were no dates. They stripped me of my last 4 visits to see my grandchildren because I wouldn't sign a blank document, and I've got emails for that too. I'm not signing nothing blank, so you can say I was supposed to attend on this day, but it was supposed to be this day. How many other lies have you told that I've got in writing, because I don't communicate via telephone with these people? Everything I'm saying to you is in writing. Let's put it all together. Selma ran a center called the Hope and Healing Center that was located in Jacksonville, Florida. That is where we were supposed to do the CPP with my granddaughter. And we went on a regular basis. Jewish failed to show up with the baby for several appointments. In court, my daughter was asked by the judge, who is bipolar, who should have not been making those decisions, or should have been appointed a court-appointed attorney for her own self because of her mental incapacities. So they basically took advantage of a person with a mental handicap. So Selma came to court, clarified everything, told the judge that I was good for unsupervised visits. Jasmine was just misunderstanding the fact that I was looking out for the best interest for Leilani, not trying to discredit her as a parent. But 18 months later, after my attorney and I had begged her for notes, for medical records, because it would have been a second opinion against Jewish and Family Services, who said I should have never had my grandkids, she came to court and changed her entire testimony and said that I was a danger to my grandchildren and having a relationship with my daughter, but hadn't seen anyone have been involved in the case in 18 months with no notes. So which family are you remembering, Selma? Hadn't seen me, didn't see my face when she came to court to testify. I could have been any number. Because she had stated that she was being hit by the foster parents. When asked why she didn't want to take a bath or go to bed. My grandbaby has slept on her own since she was 6 weeks old. I'm a strong believer of babies sleeping in cribs in their own rooms. From day one, you put them on a schedule, you're good to go. She was afraid to go to sleep at night. She was afraid to take a bath. She said she was being hit. So I reported it to JFCS. They ignored me. I asked for therapy just in case something was happening to her. She then told the therapist that she was being hit. I waited for somebody to contact me about an investigation, and I reached out to Jewish, who had done nothing, so I called the Department of Children and Families 1-800-96-ABUSE line myself. Waited to hear from someone, reached out to them via email, and was told that they had the case deferred from the Department of Children and Families to investigate, and sent to some, I guess, agency that they know that, hey, was going to do what they wanted them to do. But I was never questioned. They never spoke to anybody that witnessed my grandbaby saying she was being hit, and she was telling everyone in my family. I believe that there was some sexual abuse going on because of some of her behavior. Jewish never investigated. Never investigated. They just kept saying the foster mother was the ideal parent, but she wouldn't comb their hair. She wouldn't buy them new clothes. She didn't do anything for those kids until the very end, when it was time for her to start coming to court. She made 3 court dates out of 2 years. But these are children that you want, but you're not even standing here to speak out. In the state of Florida, you have the right to a second opinion for any doctor, any type of appointment. They refused. They said my grandbaby was going to receive a more holistic, based on their Jewish religion, because they do celebrate and close their office for every Jewish holiday. Based on their Jewish religion, she would be getting a holistic type of therapy, which is another thing. Their religion isn't anything like my religion. So are you basing your decisions on your religion? Are you basing your judgments of my character because Jewish women are meek and quiet, and I have a voice, and I was taught to sing, and that black is beautiful, and that we are free, and that we are people, and that little black girls' lives matter too? There shouldn't be a price tag on children's head, period. When all the statistics say children are molested, mistreated, more often than not abused sexually in foster care and in their adoptive foster families.
All the workers conspired to stop her from getting her grandchildren. They wouldn't give a grandmother her grandchildren. So I want you to pay attention to this story. I want you to post it to a friend's page. I want you to share it. These injustices to these children need to be told. If you look at this case is literally human trafficking. This is legal human trafficking. And the judicial system is co-signing off on it. These adoption agencies work with these foster care agencies that are funded by the state to abduct children, remove them from homes, and put them in other people's homes. They are abducting children and they are selling them away. That's human trafficking. And they're doing all this legally.
If you want to reach out about this, dial 904-438-8218. Contact me. My name is Valeshia Wilson. I will get your voice heard. Somebody, we have to start somewhere. Somebody reach out. 1 makes 2, 2 makes 3, 4, 5, 5, 10, 20, 100. I've got 200 signatures already on my petition. I'm trying to get more. We have got to stop them from silently selling our children to families. Nobody knows what's going on, but everybody knows what's going on. People are afraid. They're afraid to speak out for the consequences that's going to happen. But guess what? If they want to sell your kids or give your kids away, they're going to do it anyway. So why be quiet? We got voices. Don't be quiet.
This is the time to do it.
I'm done.
Absolutely, yeah.
I'm just done with